Welcome back to another episode of Boat and Blade. Today, as usual, playing War Sales. We're going to show how Vlandian units are not just about the cavalry. You've been playing Vlandia wrong this entire time, and the reason is you're not using crossbowmen, Nata, and Vlandian Vogiers to their full capacity on the battlefield. A lot of people are complaining about this new upgrade, saying, they made the Banner Knights weaker, and that the Vlandian Calvary is not as good as it used to be. How now? Vlandia is a weak faction. I'm gonna tell you now. If that's what you think, you've been playing this game wrong the whole time. You gotta use a variety of different troops in your faction's armies. You cannot just rely on one core player. Now, I've played Vlandian playthroughs before, and I've had quite large cavalry armies. I'm not saying the Banner Knight doesn't shine and that cavalry is no good. However, especially with the new updates, we have war sales now, there's ship battles, you can't use cavalry on the sea, and projectiles, as always, but even more now, have huge advantages, of course, just by principle, and you should be using these missile units to the best of your ability, especially since the AI infantry tends to crowd together. You can get lots of kills. So let's get into it. We're going to save the king, Datat. My little navy has come onto land, and we're outnumbered by another small but larger army. We're outnumbered by almost 100 men, almost. And we're going to save the king anyways, so we came on the land to do that. So let's put our Nata to use. Save the king of Vlandia, Datat, from the Imperial legionaries. So one of the reasons why Vlandian crossbowmen are so good is because of their shields. Now the Nata are the Imperial troops, but the Nata are the Vlandian Marine class, and the Nata, the reason why they are still very good is because they have these shields, and they are able to operate in a way like the sharpshooter here, but they also have better abilities to kill on sea, and I do operate a Vlandian navy, an army with a navy focus. So I use both sharpshooters and Nata, but here I have quite a lot of Nata, and they're going to fare pretty well because they have these shields, and they're going to fare better in situations a lot of other archers won't be able to even operate in because those other archers don't have shields. So we're going to be able to use them in ways you can't use other missile units. So as you can see, I do have some Imperial units. That's from my settlement. I do have Legetta in this gameplay, and Artesia. As Vlandia is expanding, we took those lands, which is important because Artesia also has great upgrades for ships, and that's going to be important in our naval gameplay. However, now I don't have Artesia. I was given to a new vassal since it rebelled, and I just have Legetta since I took Legetta in my large invasion of the area. And yes, we do have a lot of Banner Knights. Well, not too many, 38. And if I had even more, you know, maybe I might be able to win this battle, even though we're outnumbered. We will take a lot more losses than with the strategy I'm using. These Imperial Nate aren't actually mine. They are mine. They're part of my army, but they're not in my party. They're in my clan members' army. They're just going to be here at the beginning of the battle, and then our Vlandian Volgears will move in towards the end. So these guys are just going to do some basic... they're really just going to shield the retreat I'm going to create. Because we're going to attack first. They have the high position on this mountain. Now, they would probably stampede me if they just pressed more, because then they would still have the high advantage. Yeah, they would have the high ground. But because if I push them by bringing my crossbowmen forward, they're going to have to take cover, because we're going to lay down a lot of fire. I have a lot of crossbowmen, and that quantity is going to matter. So there's a reason why I have a lot of crossbowmen. Partly because I'm a navy, partly because that's also very effective on land. And I use them also as infantry because they have shields. And I do also tend to have infantry units with shields that are, you know, non-missile units. However, I also like the Volgears, so I invest heavily in my infantry being the shock troops, because I do know my crossbowmen can do both. So I'm not too worried about investing in a large amount of shield units for infantry, because I already have that fulfilled with my crossbowmen. Otherwise, you know, shield infantry are kind of important in most gameplays, so we need them. So here we have the low ground, but they're going to take some losses. That's going to cause them to retreat. In the meantime, I'm going to move these skirmishers, which I'll apologize for having because they're not Vlandian troops, but it's honestly not so important to the battle. And then these guys are going to go left. Soldiers! And as you can see, I have a sort of weird selection of weapons. I have a two-handed sword, which is good both in melee, combat on foot, and on horseback, and in sea battles. Crossbow, which is I use in sieges and on foot when I'm fighting with my crossbowmen, and I use them heavily in sea battles, which you know, if you watch our sea battle videos, we're going to be showing a lot of our naval battles are using distance to the advantage, just like we're using here. They are moving farther forward than I expected, but we're still creating more casualties on their side. We're doing pretty well. There's the direction. We gotta be careful because they do have cavalry. D7. They might charge us. I'm hoping they get pushed back actually up the mountain, and you'll see. Because I want this little crevice right here. We can use as a foxhole, and actually as cover if we push them back further into the top of the mountain. It's not really a mountain, it's more of a hill, but over the top of the hill. So I kind of want to push them back, see if that happens or not, or if they come forward. I think my guys are moving too far forward. Keep them. Okay. They're coming forward. So my original strategy might not work out. We'll have to adjust. But yeah, I also have a lance because, of course, when I am riding, I do want to use the lance. In my previous games, I would have shield, lance, sword, or whatever, some sort of shorter sidearm, maybe an axe. Axes are good as short sidearms for sieges. And maybe a two-handed sword sometimes.
Infantry!
But because we're doing more navy, I need the crossbow. So I had to do a sort of hybrid loadout where we're using both cavalry, infantry, navy combinations. Okay, we gotta be careful here. So I brought these guys up. Still doing okay. We might have pushed them up a little bit. Let's see if we can...
Horsemen!
We might want to force them to move somehow.
Everyone! Horsemen!
I think we've taken out most of... No, there's still some archers. They don't have that many. These guys don't need to be here.
Infantry!
It's a bit unnecessary. Let's get them further from the archers. But still where they're defensive against the other cavalry. Get these guys up front.
Loose formation!
I just want them to throw some javelins.
Cavalry! Move! Arrow! Attack!
Let's get these guys here.
Hold fire! Fire! Charge!
We might take some losses because we're showing our side now. Well, we're going to take cover here. Actually, we didn't take any losses by doing that. It wasn't so bad. I think we're still winning.
Forward! Forward! Forward!
I might get off the horse in this battle to fight on foot. Let's see. I cannot use the crossbow on the horse very much. See, I only can shoot one shot, and honestly, I don't know. My aim is worse on the horse because it messes with how the crossbow fires it somehow. I don't know how, but it's not so good. That's the one disadvantage of the crossbow. You know, I like also bows in my other gameplay, but you know, you have to go crossbow, and crossbow definitely has some advantages as well. Get these guys up here. Did we really run out of crossbow bolts already? Did not expect this.
Everyone! Archers!
Okay.
Move! Move! Turn to enemy! Hold fire! Fire at will!
Well, then we might as well get them in a shield formation. Bring these guys up.
Hold arrows!
And their archers are going kind of split into two. I mean, their cavalry split into two, so
Form a shield wall!
let's take our cavalry, flank right side. These guys can do that, they don't really matter.
Footmen! Move to enemy!
It's horse archers. No.
Cavalry! Attack! Move onward!
Let's do a square formation. these guys are, these not are extremely adaptable. You can use them as missile units, as infantry, and they're doing very well. And my men did pretty well against their cavalry on the right side. So now we're surrounding them. To be fair, my original plan didn't exactly happen, but kind of. It's kind of how it goes. I am using my Imperial troops a little bit more than I expected. We kind of gotta go full guns blazing now. I would get in there, but they're retreating now.
Everyone, kill them all!
Let's get back on horse. Let's get out of here. Yeah, so as I said before, we're waiting on the reinforcements. Now it's time for the road gears. You're gonna see. These guys are going to destroy. They're going to come in. They're going to do very well. Trying to get my cavalry to fight but not go straight into the infantry. As you can see, they're doing pretty well in that. And now my warriors are bearing into them. And I need my remaining crossbowmen to deliver fire onto attacks. We're gonna need these guys' support. Let's go.
Arrow charge!
So, if I use auto, you know, just to have the AIs fight this battle, we would have lost. There's a lot of scenarios where I could have lost this battle. We're heavily outnumbered. We're doing pretty good. We're gonna save the king. Bring honor to Vlandia. And to our clan. Okay. Chop in a minute. Those boulders just chopping them down. The enemies are fleeing. One. Yeah, but the original strategy was for the archers to stay here, push them up, and then they would have been over there. They would have won that way, but sometimes you have to adapt. We surrounded them in other ways, and we used our crossbowmen, the Nazi, our mariners. In the hybrid way, they're able to fight, which is different than any other crossbowmen in the game. So, yeah, you gotta see Vlandia's troop tree is not just banner knights. You gotta use your troops properly. A lot of people just wanna charge into battle and see which troops do the best, just fighting straight out battles, but that's not how the game was. The game is a strategy game, and you're using different factions with different units in the best way possible to get victories, even when the odds are not in your favor. Because if you're just fighting to see who wins in a flat out, brawl, you're not going to be winning in your campaign. Let's see who got the most kills. Quite a lot of Banner Knights, quite a lot of Nala, quite a lot of Vogir. That's what I'm talking about. So the majority of our kills were from these units. And sure, there's more Banner Knights, more Banner Knight kills. But look, 77 Nala kills and 85 Vogir kills. The Vogirs weren't even in the battle till the end. So that's crazy. Let's see what other, because the Imperial troops were not, see, the Imperial Nada didn't even kill that many troops. Even though I had a bunch of Imperial Nada from Nogand, my brother, in the game. They didn't get that many kills. They didn't make a big difference. They were basically just fodder. But, these Vlandian troop tree, it's not just the cavalry. It's the whole troop tree that's doing great. And you gotta know how to use them. You gotta know how to use them on land and on sea. So don't sleep on the Vlandian Navy, for sure. And don't sleep on the crossbowmen, don't sleep on the Vogir. It's not all about the sergeant, it's not all about the Banner Knight. I would argue that actually going mostly crossbowmen, Vogir, and then some Banner Knights might be better than having a lot of sergeants and some crossbowmen and mostly cavalry. I would argue Vogir, crossbowmen, either sharpshooter or Nada, depending on whether you're doing more sea battles or land battles, and then Banner Knights, all in one. That's the way to go. And we saved the king, most importantly. He's got to thank us and give our clan many blessings so that we can also someday become kings of Vlandia. Take our prisoners. That's pretty much all for today. So like and subscribe if you want to see more tactics for war sales. We're going to do mostly naval battles. We're going to do some land battles also. I'm doing mostly Vlandian content, but we can do some other content for other factions also.
I am your
I just think people are sleeping on Vlandia a little bit as far as the Navy.
I yield.
People are hyped about war sales having the Nords. and they're really obsessed with the drone one, but there's so much more going on.
I am your prisoner.
You don't want to sleep on the Vlandian Navy, so we're going to make some videos about that, and then we can do some videos about some other factions also. So follow me on Boat and Blade, you know, Mountain Blade for the seas, and also check out my other YouTube channels. On my Instagram, I make a lot of art, and then do a lot of visual arts and illustrations, and I do some videos talking about that kind of stuff, and also some music coming out. And yeah, you can check that all out on my other YouTube channels or on my Instagram. And soon I'm also gonna have some merch, gonna do some concept art that's war sale themes, and you can buy shirts with that concept art on it. So you'll see that coming out soon on my portfolio website shop. So check out all that stuff. Links in the description. Videos at the end of the video. Like and subscribe. Thank you. And until next time, for more war sales tactics.